And now, as always, as it's a Thursday, we are joined by our resident film expert, Deacy. And this week we're talking about the world of biopics. And for viewers who aren't sure what a biopic is, it's a biographical movie about a prominent person or business. But Chris, do you think the film industry is running out of ideas? We've got the Michael Jackson one, which I believe is coming out soon.
It is, later this month, yes. I mean, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, obviously, the actor playing this is a family member. So it's a Jackson playing a Jackson. And one wonders, therefore, whether this is going to be a film that is not going to touch any raw notes. I mean, this is always the thing with biopics, that there's a sense of being faithful to the life of the person, but also not offending the family. I remember feeling that with the Johnny Cash film, Walk the Line. It was very good, with an Oscar-worthy performance. He was nominated by Joaquin Phoenix. But at the same time, it felt like it was straddling a line. And sort of on the one hand, not wanting to offend the family, not risking any sort of litigation, but also being true to the man. And of course, biopics are normally made after the person has died. There are exceptions. There was a biopic of George W. Bush while he was still in office, back in 2008. But this film has one of the best trailers that I've seen. I cannot wait to watch this. But will it live up to expectations? I feel that with all of them. They always seem, in my view, to promise so much, but often there's almost an enforced rags to riches story in the childhood and the dysfunctional life. But they all feel the same. The Aretha Franklin one, they're very worthy, but one almost feels that they're interchangeable. And to me, that there's something that doesn't quite hit the right notes there.
Do you find that it's kind of taking over the movie scene at the moment? Because we've got, I mean, if we look at the recent films that have come out, we've got sequels, remakes, now we've got a lot of biopics. Do you find that maybe directors are losing a bit of creativity?
Well, there's one creative way around it, because I think you're right, is that sometimes, like with the Bruce Springsteen one, is that they then have not so much biopics of the person, but they use the music of the person to tell a different story. I mean, Mamma Mia does the same thing. So in a way, it's the music of ABBA, but it's not the ABBA story, but it's using the ABBA story to tell another story where you have the influence of that music in the life of someone. Bruce Springsteen, a good example. We've had the Elvis story, but two versions of that, including the really introspective one made by Sofia Coppola, which couldn't be different from the huge bombastic spectacle that Baz Luhrmann made. So in a way, you're always going to have, it's like Jesus biopics, you know, we've just come out of Easter. It's the same thing. They're always going to be, you know, people in their mind will imagine what it should be like. The Freddie Mercury one was brilliant, but it could have been Sacha Baron Cohen who played him, and there were creative differences. So you see the fine line between a really successful biopic and one that just feels a bit, oh, ho-hum. I'd rather just listen to their music rather than watch the film, which in some ways almost has to be a bit more contrived in order to sort of really get at the heart and tell the story. And sometimes we think, well, are we really that interested?
Yeah, well, there's also to say, I mean, with journalism, you have to be impartial. With making a film like this, I suppose you would also have to be quite impartial and make sure that you're not, I mean, you might be a huge fan of Michael Jackson, but you need to be aware that there's maybe more to the story than the fact that you're just a fan. I
always wonder sometimes if there are any directors who don't really like the subject matter, and they're almost like they're doing this as directors for hire, and you feel sometimes, how far can they go? I don't think we're going to see anything too controversial with the Michael Jackson one, because it's clearly a family affair. But just imagine if you have a biopic. There was one of Peter Sellers many years ago, and it felt like they had to be so careful. Some characters were portrayed almost as saintly, and you're thinking, those people are still alive. There probably were huge litigation matters involved. It's actually really quite funny, but sometimes they do feel a bit the same. They do feel a bit interchangeable.
And then quickly then, what are your predictions for the next biopic? Is it biopic or biopic? A
biopic would be one.
Okay.
Oh, well, you see, there's a few artists that haven't been done. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Carly Simon, for example. But how far can we go with this? Do you have to wait till, I mean, she's still alive. Do you wait for the person to, what about a Cliff Richard biopic? You know, I mean, it's conceivable, but often the best way to do it would be in the context of other people who were around at the same time, not just focusing perhaps on one artist. Maybe it's like an era, the 50s, for example. And we've got 30 seconds to the end of the show. So what is your favourite one that's come out so far? My favourite one, I would say, I mean, the Elvis one was good. It was. And do you know why? Because the Colonel Tom Parker was almost this cartoon character. And I thought they probably thought, how do we portray him? Because he has this reputation. So it's almost as though they were deliberately, almost like sabotaging it by having this bizarre performance by Tom Hanks. But it kind of worked despite itself.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Chris. Hopefully we'll get your review on the Michael Jackson one when you see it.